Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. This week we are going to dressage with the lovely JJ. So my boys are getting a little respite this week. So we're going to Queach Farm, which I've never been to before. And I think it's out Bury St Edmunds way, but I've never been. And JJ's owner's taking me. And we're going to be doing the prelim 14 test and the novice 28 test. Sorry, my boys are just messing about in the background. So I'm just feeding my guys and then I'm going to go get JJ ready, loaded and go to the venue. Oh, well. Is your breakfast yummy? Yeah. Good boy. Yeah, you've been a good boy. You get to have today off. And you, Finny, you can have today off. JJ's turn. You can go out in the week. How do you feel about that? He says, I'm absolutely starved. I'm going to lick my bowl clean for you. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. He's warming up with his equissage. Having a pre-dressage massage, aren't you? You're a spoilt boy. Yes, you are. You're a spoilt boy. You excited, JJ? He says, let me go back to sleep. Queach Farm.
Arriving at IP 3121.
I just arrived at the venue. JJ's just tucking into some hay and I'm just going to get dressed and then we're going to go through the tests. And I am having a cooler today because I'm not very organised and I haven't memorised them and I get real bad anxiety about remembering tests. So it's just easier for me if I have someone call them. I don't know whether that's cheating or not, but I'm just really bad at remembering. And I have only practiced the tests once this week with Mr. J. So hoping that it all goes well, but he is a good boy. And as long as he gets listening to me and I get him off my leg, we should be okay. Yes, but just have some fun. Good boy. So this is the prelim 14 test that I'm now about to enter the arena for, and I've got him going quite nicely. You had to like turn into the arena, if that makes sense, which made it a bit awkward as most of the dressage tests you kind of ride into the arena. But there you go, we're going down there and I thought we were pretty straight. We are going to turn left at the bottom. I think we lost a little bit of balance around the corner at the bottom, but he's going quite sweetly. I just wish I stopped fiddling and ride him more leg to hand and not be so jiggly, if that makes sense. I just need to put more, sort of get my leg round him a bit more. But anyway, we're riding a 20-metre circle and yeah, I think he's got a nice amount of bend. He looks quite supple and he's moving around my leg. Could have a little bit of more inside flexion. But yeah, I think we scored really well for the start of the test, mainly 7s. And I think this scored an 8, our walk transition, which, I mean, he stayed in the contact and he went up forwards into my leg and hand. So I was quite happy with that. And this is our change of rein across the diagonal. I think that also scored a 7. Yeah, which, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Just keep him straight. And again, his walk transition scored quite well because he sort of stayed in the frame, which was nice. I mean, those sort of things with my horses are quite difficult because Finley sort of fights with me, but JJ's a good boy. And we're now riding a 20-metre circle to the right. But yeah, everything was quite consistent in this test. I think he scored mainly 7s and 6.5s. I just did a give and retake, which was pretty clear. I could have him a little bit more rounder, if anything, but I don't want to, you can see when I'm trying to get him round, I sort of fiddle a bit. And a nice canter transition from JJ. He used to sort of struggle with these a bit more, but we've been doing lots of transition work at home, so he's getting much better with those. I'm happy with the rhythm of the canter and how forward it is. I just wish I had him together a bit more. And we're riding a 20-metre circle at C. I could have had him a bit more sort of up and round my leg, if that makes sense. We're just sort of losing the contact a bit in the canter, and I'm trying to get him together a bit more here. It's hard to like get him up and forwards, but also get him round in the contact. And now we'll come down to walk. I think this is our top score coming across here, which we scored an 8, which, I mean, what a lovely stretch. With JJ, he just loves to stretch, so it's one of the easiest things for him. As with my horses, like, the stretching is probably the hardest thing to do because they just don't like to be down there. Or they use it as an excuse to spook. Picking up the trot, I just need to get him back together. There we go. And now we've got our rhythm going nicely. He's just twisting his head a little bit to the outside. Come on, Charlotte, lift him a bit more with your inside rein. There we go. And not as good a transition as it was before, but it's not terrible. He just sort of lifted his head. Just in the canter, I think it's quite hard for him to ride like 20-metre circles and things because he is a big boy. So an arena like this is quite hard. It kind of feels like I'm trying to manoeuvre an Arctic sometimes. He's very light on his feet, but it is a lot to get him like forward, round and up. But that's a much nicer trot coming out of the canter anyway. There we go. Another change of rein across the diagonal. Yeah, it's a much better trot coming out of the canter. Just sort of a bit bouncier. I think we're coming down the centre line now. Yep. Swooping down the centre line. And I was a bit disappointed with this halt at the end. But if I altered it, I would have lost marks. So I just left it. He just sort of twisted to the right. But there you go. JJ have just done our first test, which is the prelim 14. It went really well. We did everything to the marker and he was really fluent through the contact. Some bits look, they could be a bit tidier. I feel like I need him more up and around my leg. He just sort of gets a bit flat and long. I just need to have him up and off my leg a bit more. And the halt at the end was a bit disappointing, I think. We just sort of come down quite straight and then the halt we sort of twisted and went pleh at the end. But apart from that, he was a really, really good boy and it's just a really lovely, quiet venue. We've now got 40 minutes before our next test, which is the novice. Yes, which should be a bit more challenging for us because the novice 28 is quite a twisty test with like some canter circles back on yourself. It can get a bit messy, so I really need to make sure that I've got him off my leg for this one because it's quite easy for him to break into trot and things because I mean he's a big boy and it is quite hard for him to canter like a 10-metre circle. So yeah, we'll see. I just need to get him more snappy off that leg. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my results now and we'll see how we get on with the prelim. And I'm getting a nice dusting of hay whilst I'm stood here. Were you pleased, JJ? Yeah, you're a good boy. So now it's the novice 28 test, which was a bit more tricky. We didn't score as well on this one. So we're now coming down the centre line. I'm quite happy with his rhythm and his frame. He could be a little bit more bouncy. I'll just lose him a little bit there. Come on, Charlotte, get it together. There we go. We're going to turn right now. And then we're sort of going all the way back up the other end of the school to do a 3-loop serpentine. I feel like he's just sort of switched off a little bit and I just need to sort of give him a wakey wake. But ready for our 3-loop serpentine, which I try to ride it as accurately as I can. I just think I forgot a little bit about the bend. Yeah, I just sort of lose it there. You can see me sort of thinking, and our last loop, I just losing the contact a bit more. It's just a bit more inconsistent. I think I should have put a bit more leg on. There we go. Just sort of got them together. A smooth canter transition. I'm just losing the contact a little bit more. I think it's just because I've not got him forward enough into my hand. And this canter circle, I felt a bit like, manoeuvring an Arctic. And it's just a little bit unbalanced. So, not as nice as the first test. Now we're going for that canter loop, and this first one was a bit of a mess because I had to canter a 15-metre circle before K, or is it H, turn, come back on myself and do some counter canter, but the caller said and trot, and he was like, okay, literally here, and I'm like, no, but you just have to leave it, move on, you've lost marks, just get on with it, don't sort of fret about it. And next we've got a 3-loop serpentine, which this one was slightly better. I've just got him a bit more in the contact and we're just sort of flowing a bit better. So I think we scored a 7 for this one. And then we've got to pick up canter again, I think, in the next corner. Come on, Jay. Yeah, I just lost the contact through the canter. And I think I should just sort of hold him in my hands a bit more. And you can see him twisting his head a bit to the outside on the circle. I just felt like it was just a bit too small. And I'm sort of like trying to turn him. And now I've got that other canter 15-metre circle, which I was adamant in my head that I was not going to let him break this time. So I just give him a little tap to wake him up from my leg. The actual circle itself isn't bad. And this bit was better. I actually kept the counter canter, but you can see him kind of rushing to break. And then he was like, am I done? There we go. But this bit's quite nice with this trot. Oh, this is the medium trot, which we scored the not very well because we hurried it, which I completely agreed with. I just went go, 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 rather than sort of holding and pushing, which was a shame. And I sort of felt like it all got a bit messy. Medium walk, which was, yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I think we've got the free walk, which again scored another 8, I think, because he's super duper at those stretches. And I just have to slip the reins and he sort of stays straight in my leg, which is very nice. And then we're walking down the centre line in medium walk, so I've just got to gather him up again here. Come on, Charlotte, quick to it. Down the centre line at A and then halting at X. And I was a bit disappointed with his halt mark because it wasn't any better than the halt in the first test, but I felt like it was much straighter. I mean, it wasn't completely square, but it was a good show halt because his back legs were apart, but obviously for dressage, new.
Then the novice test, which went really well. It was just a shame the very first canter loop, when we come back on ourselves, he just trotted a little bit early, which was a shame. But apart from that, he was super duper. And our medium trot, I think, was a bit rushed, but he did do some lovely strides. I mean, just the first few paces, I think we just rushed a little bit. But we're now going to wait for our results and get him suited and booted and ready to go home. Fourth in the prelim 14 with 66.54, and in the novice 28 he got 63.54, and fifth. There were some really nice comments. I mean, he got an 8 in the prelim for his free walk on a long rein, and really nice comments about him. Lots of consistent marks. But yeah, he went fabulous for me, and we've had a lovely day. Now back from our dressage outing, and you're just having some hay, aren't you? And I was really pleased with actually how he went, and I was quite happy with the scores. Just the placing itself, I was a bit disappointed with because I thought he looked like one of the better tests from what I saw through the day. But obviously, without looking at their test scores and things, I don't know what I was against, if that makes sense. But I was really pleased with how he went, and I mean, he didn't score anything under, I think the lowest mark was a 5.5, which is in the second test when we broke the canter early. You know, when we did like the little half circly thingy majiggy. But apart from that, he scored a couple of 8s and mainly 7s and 6.5s. So I can't actually complain, and he was just lovely to ride, and it's been a really, really lovely day, and the sun is coming out now too. I just can't wait to get showing him now, really. But it was nice for him to do some other things. I mean, we've been jumping and cross-country schooling, haven't we? He's so good. I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog, and I'll see you all next Monday, and I will let you in for a secret. It is showing related next week. It's something rather exciting. So I'll see you all next week. Bye.